90, 96 and 102 were our prediction scores. We clearly overestimated the demons here on the New York pitch because Canada put up a very disciplined batting performance. They've reached 137 in their 20 overs. Ireland clearly have the task cut out for them. Nicholas Kirton, 49 of 35 and Shreyas Movva, 37 of 36 put on that partnership when Canada were in deep trouble at 57 for 4 and have ended up with 137. We are back at Cricbuzz Live. I'm Saiyami Kher. I've got the two encyclopedias with me sitting here, Parthiv Patel and Joy Bhattacharya. Parthiv, Joyda, Canada will be very happy with what they've achieved considering they were 57 for 4.
Yeah, so first is, 26 January, we shall put the curator on an elephant so he can be in the Republic Day parade because he deserves a medal.
Yes.
He's done a good job. Whatever it is, even from yesterday, the last time India played, this pitch looks so much better. I'm not saying it's a great pitch, but it looks so much better. And that's great news because, one thing is the India-Pakistan encounter, but it's also a question of injuries early in the tournament, so many other things. This looked like a pitch. It wasn't the greatest pitch to bat on, but it's not the pitch that we saw 2 days back.
PB, we saw that spongy bounce. We saw that ball rising up a few times, but not as dangerous as the last time we saw a game played here.
Yeah, because they've shaved off the grass up the pitch. So the pace has actually gone a bit slower. So even if that spongy bounce, you can adjust to that bounce. You can adjust to that invariable bounce which was there in first few games. And there was not 100 runs scored in any inning of the tournament so far on this ground. So today, I think it shows that since Canada has reached to 137, that means that there's something in the pitch. If you are ready to apply, if you're ready to battle it out, you can still score some runs, which Kirton did. I thought, he batted brilliantly. Movva did that, supported him really well. So this is not the, flat wicket where you just, put your foot down and hit those big sixes. You have to battle it out. You have to, guts it out at few times where there'll be few bouncers here and there. There'll be maybe odd ball, just coming up from nowhere. But then you have to stick it to your game plan and have a lot of belief when you are batting.
Well, after those 2.5 months of the IPL, we're so used to just putting your foot out there, clearing the ground. So this is very different cricket. We'll have a look at the batting card. Like you said, you have to put a disciplined effort into the way you bat. The top order there wasn't very impressive, but then Kirton and Shreyas Movva steadied the ship for Canada to make them reach 137.
No, absolutely. I thought, both Pargat and Aaron Johnson, they got, caught at a time when they were trying to clear the boundary.
And that also because PPpedia called it. He said the wicket's going to go and it went. So.
Absolutely. But the thing about it is I think they took their early chances. The important thing is that the one clear message from the pitch today, which I think India and Pakistan both will be looking at, is saying, if you stay on this pitch for 3, 4, 5 overs, it becomes easier for you to bat. You get adjusted to the pace of the pitch, it's easier. We saw what Nicholas Kirton started doing once he was set. He hit a couple of really big sixes, the only sixes of this innings. But he was set. He was getting the pace and bounce of this pitch. So it's a matter of being there. And I think that's what there's a big lesson out here. Don't go too early. Try and play yourself in a little. Give yourself a chance. And don't go thinking about 180, 200. Look at that 150, 160. And as PP said, it's probably a winning total on this ground of 150.
It is 150, 160 would be a really good score on this ground, especially when the two good teams are playing. But here also you will have to go back to that early thinking of when T20 cricket started. First 6 overs, 40 to 45 runs, have 1 wicket in hand, and 1 wicket if you're just 1 wicket down, and then if you have 7, 8 wickets in hand, then you can clearly get about 100 in another 14 overs. So that can get you to 140, 150. And that should be the template on this kind of a pitch. And that's where you will get those runs. And clearly the scorecard also suggests that. You see that first 4 wickets fell down and then ball got slightly older, so then it becomes slightly easier to score runs. And because they had wickets in hand, they lost 4 wickets. But in middle phase, from 11 to 15, they didn't lose a wicket. Though run rate wasn't that high, but they could cover it up with the run rate of 9.
Yes.
So sometimes when you feel 16 to 20 overs, we are so used to looking at 12 and over, 14 and over. But 9 and over or 10 and over would be a good enough score on this pitch if you have wickets in hand.
But Joyda, do you think Canada missed a trick in the first 10 overs because 30 dot balls? So if you're not getting those boundaries, do you think you should be taking those singles and twos, which they couldn't really do today?
So look, I think they took their chances up front. I thought Pargat and all penetrated the field because they were also trying to get used to the bounce of it. But I think you're right. On balance, I think the biggest thing that Kirton and Movva did well was take singles, take twos. They just dropped the ball, ran. And I think that was the fantastic, that because they allowed themselves that much time to take singles before actually going there and trying to whack the ball. And I think that is very important on this pitch. Just keep the scoreboard moving because, look, that is tougher in the first 6 overs because the field is also in. So you have all those fielders in. So it's difficult for you to take that many singles in the first 6 as well. So if you drop the ball, it's likely to go to a fielder. But once the field spreads out, there's absolutely no excuse for you not to take a lot of runs. Also, remember, this is a slow outfield. So a lot of the balls that go in the air end up like a golf shot. They sort of drop out there and then they just sort of go for a little bit. So it's very difficult to hit lofted shots that go for fours. I mean, at least 2-3 times, we called it looking at this is going to be a 4 and then you see a fielder reaching there. So those are some of the pitfalls of this, the kind of conditions that we are playing in. But for me, it's like time machine. We are going back to 2008, early IPL.
Absolutely.
45 in the first 6 is a good score. We're going back to that template now.
We're just so not used to it. But this is something that Nicholas Kirton said before the game. They said when he assessed the conditions, they felt that 130, 140. Sorry, after the innings, he said that 130, 140, they will take the score. Anything above that would be a bonus.
Yeah, I think any team would be happy with the way Canada has batted. 140 is a good score, which is a competitive score on this pitch. I think a couple of wickets early on with Ireland batting, you never know. They could not play 20 overs against India, so it's a completely different bowling attack. They could only play 16, but you're chasing 140 on a ground where the 100 has not been scored so far. So they would be under pressure, no doubt about it. And this is kind of that 190 200 score on a normal pitch, that even if it's just 137. And Canada will start very confident because they've reached where they wanted to. They wanted to bowl first, but they could not. But once they batted first, they've assessed the pitch and they said, if 140 is something which we are looking at, and they've reached close to it, so they will confidently in that huddle. Captain will say, this is something which we wanted. Now let's go out there and take a couple of wickets early on and put pressure on Ireland.
Well, they reached that 137 because of that beautiful partnership between Movva and Nicholas Kirton. Both of them, like you said, Joyda, playing very sensibly because they did get those big sixes later on, but started off with those 1s, 2s and even 3s, which are so rare nowadays in T20 cricket.
Yeah, absolutely. Because see, you're going to get 3s in this field. Because you'll cross the outfield, the ball will not reach the boundaries. So, though the ground is not huge, you are going to get more 3s out here. And it's a rarer thing, but it's likely to happen on a ground like this. But that's what the important thing is. Again, just stay in there. And I think that's the important thing. I thought Kirton he's very important to this batting side because they have a couple of power hitters up front. But he's the guy who comes in at 4 and 5 and gives that spine to the team,
Yes.
And he gives them this thing, And I think he did his job fantastically today because he took them almost to the 19th over. And he would feel a bit, broken that he couldn't finish it off. They would have got probably 7, 8, 10 runs extra. But he did most of the job. I mean, he took them to a position where they have a fighting total now.
And supported well by Shreyas Movva because he did that in their opening game as well, that he was playing that supporting role, which is absolutely crucial. Yeah,
that's something, we spoke about. Is there an anchor role left in this T20 cricket? So when you're playing on this kind of pitch, you need an anchor. And someone like Shreyas Movva, has done it really well in last game, where Nicholas Kirton did score a 50 in last game against USA. But here also, you need someone to keep on rotating the strike, and then the lefty-righty combination also helps. But when you're someone in a good touch like Nicholas Kirton is, so you have to, as a batter, it's your job to make sure that he stays on strike as much as possible, and that's exactly what Shreyas Movva did. And the partnership also shows it, though he got the partnership also is about 75 or 72 in 60 odd balls, and that's good enough on this pitch when you're considering 57 for 4 coming out and playing the way they did. So I think more than an individual score, I think in this World Cup we should be looking at the partnership because who's the power hitter and who's someone who can rotate the strike. I think both of them will have a role to play here.
We'll just quickly have a look at Ireland's bowling. Besides Joshua Little, I think everyone was very impressive. They got those 2 overs each from Curtis Camphor and Delaney, and they got that 1 wicket from Gerard Delaney on his first ball as well.
Yeah, I think they bowled okay. I was a bit disappointed with Joshua Little because I think the lengths that he bowled, he gave them too much width, he gave them area. And, you know, PP has been saying this is the kind of pitch that you just pitch it up, let the pitch to whatever. And when he was pitching it on a good length, you know, the batsman didn't have any idea what was going on. I mean, similarly, Young, you had, you know, bowled well, but then 1 over he gave 18 runs. And I think that gave a lot of importance. It was really, really big for Canada because if you see the last 5 overs, the 17th over, 17th, 18th, 19th, 20th, the 16th over went for 18. And though the remaining overs just went for 27, that's actually very good. They pulled it back. But that 18-run over is what catapulted them to that 136, 137 score.
All right, if Canada do win today, they will be creating history because they have never defended a score sub 150. So let's see if that happens. Before we get to what's happened, I have to give you all the update. First ball, wicket, before your predictions. So,
First ball, wicket.
Oh, first ball dot. Sorry, I got that wrong. I thought it was a wicket, the first ball. So your predictions,
I'm not getting anything right, so I'm going to go with my number, 42.
42 first.
That's his safe number.
I'll go 38.
Oh, I was going to go with exactly 38.
So go 38.
38, yeah, go 38.
I'll go 36. Thoda to karte difference. 36. We'll wait and watch and see if Canada manage to pull off history today. We'll give you all the updates at the 10 over point. So do join us at the Cricbuzz com box. See you all there.